The first reading today for this Sunday of worship, the first reading is a good question. Who's going to interpret the law for us? It's so lofty. Is somebody going to go to get it for us? Explain it to us? And Moses says to the people, no, it's close to you. It's in your mouth and in your heart. All you have to do is carry it out. It's in you to do. And as we say, we are inside out people. What is in us will come out. Which leads to the gospel today. It's a lawyer who will ask a question and be convinced to give himself the answer. So the question is, who is my neighbor? Now you know the story, it's told often, about the Good Samaritan. And the priest and the Levite walk by on the other side, and they seem like, how can they be so insensitive? Well, it's a religious thing. The law, the religious and cultural laws, where you don't touch someone who is bleeding. Blood is sacred, and if you touch what is sacred, you are defiled. Okay, because blood is the life-giving source. It's the closest thing to God. So we have this man beaten, robbed, and left for dead, and the priest and the Levite walk by, but a foreigner comes along and is moved from something inside him to go out. So he stops, does not pass by on the other side, but stops and pours oil on him and heals him and pours wine on him, and then takes him to an inn and says, I'm going to take care of him, and tells the innkeeper, you take care of him and I'll pay you when I'm upon my return. That's a beautiful story. And of course, then Jesus says, so who's the neighbor? Who's the good neighbor? And he said, yeah, I see. I asked you, so who is my neighbor? My neighbor is anyone in need. So it's a nice story. Many interpretations. One of them is, what if the stranger is Jesus? Is Jesus talking about himself? That he comes into the human condition and is bending over the wounded as he finds them, and pours out the oil of his love and the wine of his blood to heal. And maybe the Samaritan, or the wounded man, is each of us. And that the inn, it could be a relationship, it could be the church, it could be society at its best. So how do we pray with that? What's in it, in a way? What's in it for us? There are many needs, and how can we tend to everything? There's so many migrants and oppressed and war and sick. How can we do something for our neighbor? Everyone is our neighbor. So I offer this. This is a bit dramatic, but I think it's true. Everyone is wounded. Everyone is hurting. Everyone has a sense of being abandoned. Deeply. They may not even be conscious of it. Some are. Some are very conscious of their hurts. What about this? What about if I assume that everyone whom I meet needs to be listened to? What if I say that? And eventually, though they might be smiling and happy and everything, what if I listen to them long enough, they'll tell me of their hurts, their sense of abandonment, betrayal, not being respected, violated, abused, left for dead by the society, by family, by friends. And what if we, if possible, spend time? We pour the time on them, the oil of our time, and the wine of our interest, and we listen. I've probably said it before, but the sacrament of listening, of really being attentive. And then not only am I a healer, the Good Samaritan, but I am, in the relationship that I form with them, I am the inn. I take them in. Now that's in our hearts to do. All you have to do is carry it out. Not easy. But who needs me? Who needs to be listened to? Who needs to be accompanied? I called a friend last night, lives on a farm. His son is leaving him to move on. And he's all by himself, and he's terrified. And he has a hearing problem. And he finds relationships very difficult. And he was so grateful that I called. And all I did was listen. All I did was listen. Pouring my time? Yes. Sometimes my time is very expensive, but as a Good Samaritan, I want to pour the oil of time and the sacramental wine of caring and listening and comforting. I'm not going to solve everybody's problems. But as the lawyer who asked the question came up with the answer, my answer is the sacredness of my presence, of really being interested, not interested so much in my giving instruction and my telling my story, but actually listening to them and help them listen to them. Maybe that's the healing that Jesus is asking us to do. And maybe the Good Samaritan was really healing while they were on the journey to the inn, and that night in the inn, just listening to, how did you come to be so beaten and robbed, and how much were you robbed, and what does this mean to you? And have you ever been hurt before, and have you ever been in this country before? Listening. All you have to do is carry it out. So, the Jesus who comes to heal us, listen to us, comfort us, who poured the oil of time and the wine of love on us, says, that's in you to do. You receive the Eucharist to be a sacrament. You listen to the Word. Now listen to your neighbor. It's a healing ministry of friendship and finding and helping people be healed by you who live the Eucharist by being a Good Samaritan.